everybody. Good afternoon, lawyers, claims professionals, corporate counsel folks, Magna salespeople. Welcome to the series finale of Magna's Mock Crisis Madness. Woo! Give it up! Yeah. Come on!
And that's a big issue in this case. You know the United States government is trying to stop my client from manufacturing and selling its vehicles. You aware of that?
Yes, it's awful.
Okay. And you understand that if we didn't have corporations, we wouldn't have employees in this country, right?
I guess.
How do you feel about corporations?
It's better than the government.
Well, have you worked for one, I presume? Have you ever worked for a company?
I have not worked for an actual company.
Do you have any thoughts about self-driving cars?
Sounds great. This way I could text when I drive.
Okay.
So let's just go back one second. A yes or no?
Well, again, the Federal Regulation Safety Board, it has endorsed the product, and that's
Right.
got the highest safety standards
I think I have
in the
my
nation.
answer. Jason, would you let your son or daughter drive one of these cars?
I absolutely would, Steve, because as a young driver myself, when I was a teenager, I crashed several cars. And so if I could have somebody driving it instead of a teenager, absolutely.
Right, great. Thank you, guys.
Give it up!
Did either one of you buy a driverless car, and why? Or why not?
I think I would. You know, I think it seems like technology's there, and it sounds like it might be an exciting thing and safe, you know, to eliminate accidents.
Excellent. Ms. Van Winkle?
No, absolutely not. It's terrifying. Technology is taking over.
I understand that obviously as well.
Yeah, so based on that last statement, I guess it's safe to assume that your company is extremely pro-transgender issues.
Well, you know, that's an odd construct to put it in, because what we are is pro-people. And whether
And their full diversity.
whether they identify themselves as transgender or gay or straight or Irish or Colombian,
Right.
we want to judge them on their merits.
Right, and there you have it. Thank you, Dennis. So I heard that Lambda Legal Defense is joining in this case. Do you know who Lambda Legal Defense is?
I have not heard anything about that, Steve.
Okay, do you know what that organization is?
I do not know anything about them, Steve.
Okay, well, I'll refresh you or explain it.
Please do.
They're an organization that gets involved in high-profile cases related to LGBT discrimination. Does it concern well, it actually would concern me that you're not aware of that, but does it concern the company that they've joined in this case?
I don't think anyone joined her in a case that's inappropriate should really concern the company in a broad way. I think what really concerns the company is the distraction that this lawsuit brings and the distraction that Ms. Fingers has brought to the company from the company's goal, which, like I said earlier, is to put forth a safe product that complies with all the proper testing that Ms. Fingers was clearly not focused on, that General Patton clearly is focused on.
I can't imagine.
My client, the decedent, had a reasonable right to believe it would drive itself. Would you hold her responsible for the accident if she was texting and driving?
No.
You would not?
No.
Why'd you retire so young, sir?
I was tired of writing tickets to innocent people.
Okay. If the evidence reveals that this Maxine was driving while texting, would you hold her responsible?
Well, I feel that there shouldn't be any self-driving cars on the road at all.
I'm gonna keep him. Your Honor, I have a motion to strike Mr. Gonzalez. I think the evidence, the record created thus far is fairly clear that he would not be a suitable juror for this case.
Hey, Pete, good to see you in court today. We'll strike him. Anybody else you want to strike?
What would your argument be against your position?
I was representing the other side. First of all, I opposed it to her because I wanted to be perfect. and you say to your client, this vehicle is not ready for prime time because operating a driverless vehicle is not safe time.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
This morning we met, so we had the little information on just age and whatnot. And even through that information, we started talking about stereotypes and what might she be like, what might he be like. And what was interesting is when we got the jury information, it seemed to bolster those views. And so it really kind of lent some credence to this idea that the one area that we really do judge people and stereotype people is when we're trying to pick them for a jury. So I thought it was great to have that information because basically our assessment of these people, their biases, their background, their religious beliefs, how they would feel about the issues in the case, really, I think, fared out. So I thought it was a really great plug for the jury information because it was really able to give us a pretty good idea of who we were dealing with without asking them questions.
And that's Jury Scout for Magna Legal Services, right? Okay, we got that. Right.
I felt like Steve would take any opening that you gave him to really sort of skewer you. And at one point I felt like, on the one hand, I wanted to keep my answers short, but on the other hand, I felt like the more I talked, the less you could.
Yeah.
And I thought I was better off that way.
How about that? Give it up for these guys. Brave souls. There's no nonsense. How about stand up? Give a standing ovation. Have you ever done a standing ovation at a CLE seminar? You're going to get one right now, guys. Listen, thank you very much. We got a kick-ass party. It's happening at 6:30, and I just want to close up by saying, when this shit hits the fan, who are you going to call? You got to call one of these guys or gals. Thank you very much.